Hi, and welcome to episode 3 of the This Is Reportage podcast. My name is Alan Law. I'm the founder of This Is Reportage, and I'm a wedding photographer too. Today we have the brilliant Citlalli Rico. Hailing from Mexico and speaker of conferences all over the world, Citlalli talks about working with her sister, top tips for starting out as a wedding photographer, her love of Harry Potter, staying creative even after shooting over 700 weddings, why she used to prefer saying she was unemployed rather than being a wedding photographer, which obviously changed though, and much more. Hey Citlalli, thank you for joining us.
Hi, Alan. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's an honor to have you. It really is, honestly. Thanks for coming, joining us all this way from Mexico.
Yes, that's right. I live in Cancun, so it's
Wow,
been
cool.
nice weather.
Yeah, is it always sunny in Cancun?
Kind of, yeah. We have tropical weather, so it could be rainy too, but not as bad as back home.
Oh, where's back home for you?
No, I'm just referring to your home.
Oh, right. Oh, yes. That is very true. Yeah. So I'm recording this from the UK, and yes, our weather is probably not as good as yours. Probably not.
Well, it depends on what you like, right? So maybe you really enjoy your weather. I don't know. Some
That's
people
true.
hate like the heat, so this will be like hell for them.
That is true. I guess I quite like temperate weather, which is quite nice.
Oh, good.
So how's your wedding season coming along?
Oh, it's been good. It's very different than yours, guys. Like for me, whole year is like we have weddings even in winter because of the same because of the weather.
Oh, sure.
People during summer is not as busy as it is because everyone wants to stay home if they're getting married in the summer.
Okay.
So most of the weddings I shoot are destination weddings, and I don't know, maybe February, March, April are like very, very busy for us.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and that's quite different to the UK scene then, really.
Very, yes, it's true. Yeah, summer, I do get some Mexican weddings, but it is very, very hot here, so it's not as popular as other places.
Sure. Yeah, I bet. And is it you work with your sister? Is that right? Does she
That's
shoot with
right.
you, or does she is she doing the editing? How does that work?
Oh, well, she shoots with me. We've been shooting together for 13 years already.
Wow, that's a
And
long time.
yeah, it's been a while. And she also does her own thing in photography, but most of the weddings we shoot together. And she's also my editor. So
That's handy
it's
having someone so close
I
as your
know.
editor.
I know because she's been at the wedding, so it's great. She knows exactly what we need and how everything was intended to be shot. So it's just perfect.
That is cool. But I can't imagine working with my sisters. I've got I've got a lot of sisters. How do you ever argue? Is it always just
Of
just just works
course.
great? Yeah.
No. Of course we do. But it's not for everyone. Working with family is not like I wouldn't recommend to everybody. It's just if you have a good relationship and you have good communication. But of course, we do have some arguments. And once we actually decided not to work together anymore, but it's been just once in 13 years. So
That is good
we
going.
obviously needed like each other. So we went back right away.
How did that happen in the first place? How did you start working together?
Because when I started working for a studio in 14 years ago, and they had like a lot of weddings. Back then, I used to shoot 100 weddings a year, and
Wow.
I know,
Really?
I know. Like now, I hear that, and it's insane. Like I don't know how did I do that. And obviously, we started shooting on like the studio had 5 photographers, and we were all on our own. And then we realized that having a second person on the wedding was making everything easier, and we were providing better coverage, obviously.
Sure.
So we started working with someone else, and then I realized my sister would be like a great addition to my team, and she loved it right away. So that's what we've been doing for a while now. But back then was insane. Like we were shooting pretty much every day because
Oh,
it's, as I was saying, it's a destination place. So people will get married on Saturday or Tuesday, no matter. Like they
right.
will
Okay.
just choose any day.
I cannot imagine shooting 100 weddings in a
I know,
yeah.
it's crazy.
And
But
are you obviously shoot less than that now?
of course, yeah, no, I
Yeah.
can't. I couldn't survive that for like that lasted maybe The 100 weddings was like 3 years, and then I like slowly went down to 80, then 50, and now I'm shooting 20, 25 per year.
Okay, that's a
And
bit nicer number.
oh yes, it's really nice. And I'm also teaching a lot, so that's kind of how I'm like balancing all the income.
Okay, yeah. And do you enjoy the teaching? You've spoken at conferences and workshops in so many different countries. You must enjoy it.
I do, I do. I love it. It's one of my favorite parts of this job because I love traveling and I don't enjoy traveling for weddings. It's like it makes me really, really nervous to have all that equipment and then the files and it's just crazy for me.
Sure.
So for weddings, I'd rather stay home. But for teaching, I really, really like going away.
How did your first kind of speaking gig happen? Do you remember what happened? How you got your first?
Yeah, it was crazy because it was in Spain. I
Huh?
was like, I just received a message from, well, a colleague, a person that was organizing an event, and it was like a retreat for photographers. And he said, like, do you want to come and give a conference? I'm like, whoa, okay. Like back then, it was in 2011,
Okay.
and back then, like Mexican photographers were very trendy, I guess. So that's why I got the invitation.
I'm sure it
And
wasn't just because of that. You got it
well,
on
you're
your own
right.
merit.
Well, yeah, well, there was a reason. I think that we were just like trying really hard to set apart, to be different from what was done before in wedding photography in Mexico because it was very traditional.
Oh, was it? Is
So
it still quite traditional, or has it really changed in
no, not
Mexico?
anymore. It has changed. Like there are like many different ways to approach wedding photography here. So you could see like there is a huge amount of photographers that are still very, very traditional.
Right.
And there is like way more now that are doing things different. So there is a lot of talent. It's very interesting to trying to compete now with like so many awesome photographers that are way younger and starting and like it's been a year and they're shooting amazing now.
It,
So
yeah, it is mad, isn't it? The talent out there. You're so right.
it's
So
crazy.
you did that first speaking conference, and I guess you just really loved it and wanted to do more.
Yeah, yeah. Then after that one, I received a few more, and then I won some awards, and these awards put my name out there. So I started receiving more invitations, and I had this big one for Brazil where I had to speak in front of 2,000 people, and I was like, I don't know if I can do this.
2000.
Yeah, it was crazy. That one was really, really difficult. I
It's like a
prepared a
football
lot.
stadium.
It feels like it at least. Yeah, and then you have no teammates, so you have to do it on your own. It's insane.
Were you nervous about that?
Super nervous.
Yeah.
Like prior, I prepared a lot and I had like my presentation and I went to some classes for public speaking and
Oh,
I
cool.
was
Did that
very, very
help?
nervous. Yes, tell me.
Did those classes really help about public speaking?
Well, yeah, of course, but later, not for that one, because that
Oh,
one
okay.
was a little bit of a mess, actually, for me. Like it was like it's been the largest crowd I've had to speak in front of, but that one I was very, very nervous. I was supposed to be speaking for an hour and a half,
Okay.
and I had like a huge clock in front of me where I could see how long it was, like how much time I had left. So I was about to finish when I turned and looked at the clock, and I only have spoken for 40
Oh
minutes.
no, nightmare.
Oh, I still had like another 45 minutes to go, and I
Oh.
had no more material. I was done with it.
Oh no,
So
that's like the stuff of nightmares, that is.
it's actually like a nightmare. It
Yeah.
felt so bad. So I turned to look at the producer, and she was like, "What's happening? Like, why are you finishing already?" I'm like, "I'm sorry, I can't keep going. This is it. This is what I have." And she's like, "Okay." So I started seeing how everyone was panicking behind like the scenes. Everybody was like running around. I'm like, "Oh shit, this is terrible." So they just called the next presenter. Unfortunately, he was ready. His name is Santi Vega, and he's a videographer from Spain.
Okay,
And
cool.
he saved my butt. Like he
Oh.
just yeah, he was awesome, and he just kept going for like 3 hours after me. So it was perfect. But oh my God, I remember that, and it was
Oh
so
man, I
hard.
bet you do.
I know.
Um, So to go off on a slightly different tangent now, I think you're a big Harry Potter fan, is that right?
I am. Yes. How did you know that?
Oh, good. I do a bit of research, do a bit of research.
I can I can see. Yes. I'm
Um,
like a very proud Ravenclaw.
oh, you are. Yeah, I was wondering what house. Oh, that's quite a different kind of choice. Most people choose Gryffindor, I think.
Yes, but actually you don't get to choose.
No, that is true. Yes, you've had the
Yes.
sorting hat on.
Exactly. So I had the sorting hat on and I did all my tests on the Pottermore site.
Oh,
And I am Ravenclaw, and it's very accurate. So I'm happy with the decision.
do you have a favorite character?
Well, I like all the girls in the movie, so I love Hermione for sure.
Mm,
And I just the story is really really good, and I love all kind of geek stories. And this one in particular was my sister is the one that she grew up with the whole generation, so she read the books first, and then when I saw the first movie, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna give it a chance, and I started reading, and then I became a fan right away.
oh, they are so good, aren't they? They're brilliant.
Yes,
So
yes, they are.
I did an English degree, and randomly the first Harry Potter book was on our syllabus. So we studied the first Harry Potter book. That's how I got into it,
Really?
actually.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. Oh, that's so awesome.
It's cool.
Wow. Yeah.
Um, so what would be your top tips for people just starting out in the industry?
Well, I wish someone had told me this. I put a lot of effort on getting better as a photographer when I started. I went to a lot of workshops, paid mentorship, and I would recommend everyone to do this, but do the same in the business matter. Like
Right.
just paying a lot of attention of how to do good marketing and how to become a better like financial like person, like someone that takes care of that side, because being a photographer as we are is definitely not just taking pictures,
No,
unfortunately.
that's so true. Yeah.
So that would be my advice, just to prepare in all the areas you can, because it's not as easy as it looks.
No, and I think you're so right. It's so important. A lot of people think, well, I can take a good photo, that's going to be enough, but unfortunately it's not, is it? It really isn't.
No, no. And back when I started, it was a little bit easy because there weren't many photographers, so it was kind of easy to get weddings because people will just Google your name or like different things that they were looking for, and there were just very few names coming up. But right
Sure.
now, it's like the jungle out there. So
That is
it's I don't know. You just need to be really good at what you do in all the areas, not just the photos you take.
that's so true. I haven't heard it being referred to as that, like a wedding photographer jungle, but you're so right. It is, isn't it?
It is for sure, but it is fun too to be part of the industry.
Yeah, and it's a great industry. It's a very friendly industry as well,
It
which I think
is.
is great.
It
Um,
is. Even like among other areas in photography, I think we have a very friendly and sharing community. Well, you get to see a lot of like you get to know a lot of photographers too.
yeah, and you're so right what you said there about sharing. When I came to the industry, I thought it would be very guarded, with people having their secrets, but I found the opposite to be the case. Everyone's really open and sharing.
Yeah, I think that's important. That's why we're still happy doing this. Well, beside the clients and the weddings that are like really awesome, but also because the colleagues and the networking, it works really well.
Yeah. And it's good how you say you're happy doing this still because you've shot over 700 weddings, I think, which is
Yes.
an absolutely mind-blowing number. I mean, how do you keep your kind of creativity high for each one? Stay fresh for each one when you've done so many.
Well, I think at the beginning was really hard because I thought like the wedding it was like a checklist, right? Like you had to
Yeah,
do certain photos and the locations were always the same or kind of the same. Like I shoot all over Riviera Maya and Cancun and the hotels look like the same, right?
right.
So the beginning was really difficult, but then I realized that weddings are not about location or about like the flowers.
Right.
So that's when I started shooting and having fun and just getting inspired by people and relationships and emotions, and that's why every wedding is different now. Like I know they're a little bit predictable and you know what you have to shoot, but outside those, like you get to see a lot of things that are very exciting, and that's why I'm just never tired of them.
That's true, isn't it? I guess and I guess you don't shoot many weddings at the same venue. You're always going to different venues.
Well, it's just I do shoot a lot in the same venues,
Oh, okay.
and it's kind of nice because you know the area very well. So when you're in a rush, you know where to go right away.
Right.
But
Yes.
it's also nice to go to different places too and to stay fresh and excited about where you're shooting. But for me, it's not about the place anymore. Like it wouldn't matter if I had to shoot in the same venue every weekend, because it is about the people now.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, I mean, in my experience as well, so shooting at the same venue sometimes 3 or 4 times a year, they're so different because it's the people are different, which is what it's all about.
I know it's exciting, and I guess that's kind of what this is reportage is about, right? Like it's not about
Exactly.
the wedding itself; it's about what you're seeing and documenting.
Yes, exactly that is exactly that. And that's a good little segue actually. I'd like to talk about one of your specific images that won a reportage award because one of my favorite images, I think, of any photographer on the side is this image that you captured of this huge, really tall ladder. It looks like someone's changing a light bulb or something. Can you talk to me about that image?
Of course, yeah. We arrived early to the wedding and normally go and check around and see. Well, we go and visit the coordinator to find out how everything is going. And so we walked into the ballroom, and this is exactly what was happening. Like I just walked in and I saw this guy standing on the ladder, and there were three people holding the ladder. So I was like, what? Like I didn't even think about shooting it. I just like put the camera up and take 2 frames. I
Just two.
was
Wow, really?
just two. That was it. And then I walked away. And when I was doing all this, the calling and selecting the photos, I saw it. I'm like, this is like so different. I've never seen like 4 people changing a light bulb. It's like the joke, right? Like how
It
many
is.
Mexicans do you need to change a light bulb? So and it's obviously dangerous, and it's just I don't know. I also love it.
Oh,
I have a
it's such a strong image. I love it. It's so
oh thank
impactful.
you.
For anyone who maybe hasn't seen it, because obviously this is podcast, I will put this on the website where this interview will also be. You check it out. It's brilliant. It looks so
Thank you.
dangerous. I mean, I just can't.
That's well, if you come to have you been to Mexico?
I haven't. I'd love to go, but I haven't. No.
Oh, you should come. That's kind of what you see pretty much everywhere. Like not the changing the light bulb thing, but if you go to a construction or like the safety like rules are there, but no one follows them.
No.
So that's yeah, that's something that you would see pretty much everywhere here, unfortunately.
Oh, okay. I need to come and check it out. That's funny.
Yes.
I think my wife always tells me off at home because I'm kind of like Mr. Health and Safety with our kids. I'm like, stop running with corners and things. So I think that would freak me out a bit.
Of course, yeah, you will be a little bit scared, but it is, I don't know, it's so interesting, and it's kind of sad because obviously there are a lot of accidents, but that's kind of how we roll, and it's a little bit scary. So at least my sister and I are always on the watch for like our clients' safety, and we don't do nothing like crazy epic just for the sake of shooting because I'm always worried about the clients.
Yeah, I think that's good to be vigilant like that. Yeah, and I just love that image. I mean, a lot of people don't even capture that kind of behind the scenes element of a wedding day. So I just love the fact that you did that, you know.
Well, I have a mini project inside weddings where I like to shoot the vendors just
That,
because they're like so important. We are vendors, right? So we should like, kind of take care of ourselves
that's true.
and just seeing like especially in a destination place where they have to like help or work for weddings like every day and maybe for 2 or 3 weddings per day because the venues here are insane. They're just producing weddings all the time.
Right.
So when I see them like working hard or see an interesting image about vendors, I just love shooting it. I think it's a very important part, and our destination, or I think all the touristic destinations are kind of sad in that area where they don't take care of their own employees. And here it's really, really, I'm struggling a lot with my place and how it is treating employees. So
Okay.
eventually I will do something about it.
Oh, that's interesting. It's a really valid point as well, though, and a really good project to have. So yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
On a little side tangent, a little just to go a bit different now. If you won the lottery, what would you spend it on?
Huh. Never thought of that. I'm like not that kind of person that is thinking the future a lot.
No.
Like I hate spoilers, so I wouldn't ask someone to tell me my future or anything like that. But what would I do with the money? I think um, I would just buy a place in a safer city or a place that I would like to be living in and just keep shooting and do some personal projects. But I don't think I will spend it in something very specific. Like
No.
I wouldn't buy a yacht or a boat or anything like that.
Or
No,
both.
I'm not very much like I don't care a lot about the material stuff. So
Well, that's cool. I think that's a good way to be. You sound very happy, so you don't need
I am, yes, you're right. Yeah, I am very happy right now. So I don't need much. But it would be nice to win the lottery. I will just give away a lot of it and help my family and things like that.
That's good. That's a very nice answer. Very
Oh,
good.
thank you.
Um, so has there been a specific, do you think there's been a specific turning point in your career? You know, something, perhaps a certain wedding or an award or anything that's happened to you that's had a major impact on your career?
Yeah, sure, many. But I think the main one, there are like maybe two. One was when I went to my first photography conference, and it was in 2009. And I went to the foundation conference that then it changed to Fearless conference.
Oh, yeah.
But it was kind of like the first one they did. And it's when I got to meet most of my rock stars, right? Like the
Oh, cool.
photographers that
Yeah.
I was following, and my knees were shaking. Like I was like, "Oh my God, look at that! That's Ben Chrisman and Aaron Chrisman," and I was just so 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 exciting to see the people that I was following their work, and they were doing amazing things.
And people must
And
feel like that meeting you now, though, as well.
that's so funny. No, 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 no. I'm
I'm
not. I'm not
sure.
famous. But it was just like a great feeling, and then to see that they were obviously human beings and they were like very kind and they were just like willing to share. So that was very, very important to me. That's when I realized that I wanted to do a different approach in wedding photography, and it was very, very inspiring. And then another one was when Fearless started doing all the contests. The first year, at the end, I received an email that, "Hey, you won! Like you have the most awards." I'm like, "What?"
Wow.
Yeah, I had no clue that was going to happen. I was obviously with like a lot of other photographers there that I was admiring, so I never thought that it would be me. So that definitely changed my career because I got a lot of exposure. It was one of those things that you think it's a blessing, and it was in many ways because it put my name out there, but I put a lot of pressure on myself because I thought I had to keep shooting for awards. And it happens a lot to many photographers. So you just have to be careful about that because awards is like those instant gratifications that are great, and and it's also nice because you get exposure and you get validation, and I always recommend to certain photographers that they can submit, but it's also about your personality and how you can handle that. And if you don't win, don't take it too seriously because it can hurt.
Sure.
So that's it was really good for me, but it also put a lot of pressure. I put a lot of pressure on myself, and it took me a while to understand the balance.
Yeah, and,
So,
and that's so important, isn't it? And how did you deal with that kind of pressure and stress after that?
well, the first year when I won in 2011, so the next year I just kept shooting every wedding. I had in my mind that I had to come back with at least one award.
Right.
And
That is a lot of pressure to put on yourself.
it is. And then you're shooting, and then sometimes the weddings are great, but you're not getting what you're like looking for. So you lose focus because you're not taking care of your clients in the right way. You're just pushing for an award.
Sure.
And so it took me like a year to realize that that wasn't the way to go. And then I just laid back a little and stopped submitting for contests for like another year.
Hmm.
And then I went back with the images that felt more honest to me, like because also when you're looking for awards, you kind of start copying a lot. Like you're
Sure.
like, okay, so if this formula works for and it's winning in this contest, then I should go for that. And then I realized that that wasn't the way. And now I'm just submitting images that feel more me and more honest, and the ones that that my clients love too. So it's just really nice to have that shift. So when I win, I feel very happy, but it's not my main goal anymore.
Sure. And that's a real great way to look at it as well. Um, you've won a couple of story awards as well, haven't you?
Yeah,
Which is amazing. Do you enjoy submitting those? And
those are my favorite actually.
that's
I
cool.
think it's really really nice that you have that because it's definitely interesting to have to go through the wedding and find like mini stories in it, right? Like it's not just like the story of the wedding, but then you can see sometimes that okay, so in this wedding there was these kind of things were happening, so this could be like a story on its own.
Yeah.
So it's just a very interesting exercise, and just realizing that when we go to a wedding, we have to see it as a story as it is, not as single images every time we're shooting. So I know that there is this approach where people think that I have to have a really good image on the getting ready, a really good image on ceremony, I have to have a really good images during just really good image on reception. So if I come back with those three images, I'm happy, and it's a great goal to have. But I think it's just we just have to see it as a whole thing, like as a consistent work we're producing. So
Yeah. And
it's
that's so
just
difficult to do though as well, isn't it?
of course, it takes a while. It takes some
Mm.
time, and it depends on what you're focusing in. And for some photographers, the wedding is just the studio, like the bride and groom photos or family photos. But we're spending maybe an hour on those, and then the other 9 or 8 or 10 hours are like the rest, and the story is there. So you
Yeah.
just need to take like put a lot of attention in those two.
Yeah. Do you have any regrets in life? I know that's quite a big question to go for too,
Oh,
but it's just
wow,
yeah.
Alan. We're getting like very deep here. Regrets. And I don't think so. No, I'm very happy. I will do it everything all over again. I'm
And
very
that is
happy with the results. Yes.
that's and that's perfect and that's great. I think that just really is. That's yeah, it shows how happy you are and yeah, that's just brilliant.
Thank
Um,
you.
other than wedding photography, what are you really passionate about? And other than Harry Potter as well.
Yes. Um, well, my family, everyone's been an artist in a certain way. So everyone is doing things with their hands. Like my parents used to be ceramists. Is that how you say it? I'm not sure. They did ceramic.
Oh, really? Oh, that's
Yeah.
interesting. Oh, cool.
Yeah. Like my whole life, they
Can
had
you
a
can you do
workshop.
that as well?
I know how to do it. Yes. I didn't do much of it, but I know how the process works, and I did learn from them. And
Cool.
now they work with glass, and they do like this handcraft stuff.
Oh,
So I'm very passionate about those things. I just feel like I'm having a hard time finding time to do that.
sure.
I love to do like the printmaking, linoprint, and things like that. I just wish I could balance my time a little bit
Oh,
more to just keep going with those personal projects. But
ti
I think that's my
time
other.
is time is the most important thing, isn't it? Were your parents then were they supportive of you going into a creative industry like this?
Yes, of course. They were very supportive. They wanted me to, well, my dad wanted me to be a doctor, but not in a
Yeah.
very pushy way. Like he was just like, you could like just become a doctor. I'm like, yeah, but I don't think I could handle that. So when I started working for the studio, I was unemployed. So basically, it was like whatever you do, but do something, you know, because I was, and it's not because I was lazy. It was just hard to find a job that I liked because I worked really hard since I was in college, and I was really struggling with money, and the jobs were like paying very, very low. So when I started in photography, I realized I was making like what I was making in the other jobs in 2 months. That's what I was making in one day.
Wow,
So
that's massive.
yeah, it was crazy. So they were very happy that I was happy with what I was doing. But at the beginning, I wasn't proud of being a wedding photographer because when
Oh,
I
really?
went to school, no, it was terrible. Like when I went to school, it was like the lowest thing you could do. It was become a wedding photographer.
Right.
So at
It's
the
funny
beginning,
that, isn't it? It's definitely changed now.
yes, fortunately, yeah.
Yeah.
Like maybe that would be my one regret, feeling ashamed of being a wedding photographer at the beginning. You
Right.
know, like
Yeah.
it obviously helped because now I'm very proud of it. But the first year, when people will ask me, "What do you do?" I'd rather say I have no job than saying that I was a wedding photographer.
I would rather say unemployed. That's so funny.
Yes, 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 yes. Every single time, I'm like, no, I'm no, nothing yet.
And
And I,
was there a certain point where that kind of changed for you and that you were happy to tell people that you were a wedding photographer?
when I started changing my photography, like when I realized that there were other things to be done besides just doing the checklist and just the bride and the groom kissing and then putting the rings on, and when
Right.
I realized that there was like a whole industry out there doing amazing stuff, and that's when I saw that I'm like, okay, this is what I want to do. And then I also realized that it's a very challenging. There's a being a wedding photographer requires a lot of skills,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's not an easy thing.
It's what
And
you say when you realized that you could do it differently and more creatively. Was there a certain photographer who you saw who influenced you that way, or was it the whole kind of general scene was changing, or?
well, no, it was, I felt pretty lonely. It was, for me, the whole world was just our studio, right? Like it was the five photographers that were working together.
Right.
And I went online and see, okay, what's happening in the world? There has to be more wedding photographers beside us. So I found the WPJA
Yeah.
site, and that's when like oh my God, I can't believe I survived for a year without finding this. So that's when I got inspired because I saw the work like in a more photojournalistic way or documenting
Sure.
way. And I'm like, okay, this is it. This is what I want to do. And that's when I got inspired and
No, that's
realized
cool.
that, yeah, it wasn't a bad job to have.
And your parents now are happy to say that their daughter is a wedding photographer?
Yes, of course, they are.
They don't say, "Oh, she doesn't have a job."
No. They're very proud and very supportive,
Oh, that's cool.
and they love that we're working together. So no. I'm good on that side.
Yeah, I mean that must be amazing actually as a parent to know that your children are working together and forging a career together like that. That's pretty special.
I think so. I think it is, and especially because we're very tight, like we're very close as a family. So for them, knowing that every time we go and shoot a wedding, we're together and we're like, it's just very, very nice for them for sure.
Yeah, I just think that that's lovely. I mean, I've got a boy and a girl, and if they work together in the future, I think that would be amazing. That really would.
Oh, yeah, it could happen for sure. Do you think they're gonna become photographers
Oh, I
or
don't know.
you don't
I
know
don't
yet?
know. My daughter vacillates between wanting to be a dancer or a vet or a waitress. So we'll see.
Oh,
But yeah.
that's really nice. So how old
We'll
is
see.
she?
She's nearly 8. Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. Okay. That's in your boy? How old?
He's nearly 5. Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah, no,
both
no,
at
they
school.
still have some time to decide.
Yes, they do. Yeah, quite a bit of time. Which part of a wedding do you enjoy capturing the most?
I love getting ready.
Yeah.
I really, really enjoy getting ready. It's one of my like the times where my brain is just kind of warming up, and also like it's even if for the rest of the people everyone is like in chaos and worried and running around. For me, it's when I'm like my brain is like at ease and I get the chance to breathe. And I always like to get to the bride's room or venue or whatever she's getting ready at, or home, just very early. Like if I say I'm going to start at 2 p.m., I arrive like at least at 1
Oh,
hour
okay.
before. So I get a chance to just soak it in and think about what I want to shoot, the angles and the light, and feeling the people and talking a little bit to everyone. And so that's definitely my favorite part. It's kind of when I'm making all the connections that I need to make for the rest of the day.
Sure.
So I really, really, really enjoy that.
That's cool. And as you work with your sister, do you have a system where one of you always does groom prep and the other does bride prep, or do you just mix it
Yes.
around?
No, we split, and she goes with the guys and I go with the girls most of the time.
Okay,
And
cool.
yeah, it's just kind of the way it works for us. And she's great with the guys, and so it works really, really well.
That's cool. Cool. I'm going to end. I've just got time, I think, so it was one more question. I'm going to end with another, just a small throwaway question. But yeah, what to you is the most important thing in life?
For me,
Yeah. What is the most important thing in life for you, do you think?
um, I think balance.
Yeah.
I
In
think
what?
balance in general, like that would be the most important thing, because I will easily say that it's spending time with my family, with my loved ones, with the people that I care about. But I also found that I need balance on spending time with myself too, like on my own, and taking care of me. So that's why balance would be the most important. Like I wanna find that's what makes me happy. At least that's why it's the most important part. When I realize that I'm doing a little bit of everything that makes me happy in general.
Mhm.
So I would say the balancing, or I'm like having a good idea of what to do with my time.
I think that's such a good answer because I think there's so many wedding photographers, especially, they kind of burn out. They just sort of work, work, work. They want to be so successful, and then they forget about, well, life's not really, about working yourself to the bone. You need, as you say, balance. That's so important.
Yes, no, I definitely I love my job. I love working,
Oh, of
but
course.
I don't do it because like I do it because I want to have time for myself and for my family and friends. That's why I work.
Yeah.
So definitely that finding that balance has been like a long, 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 long way. And at the beginning, because I was shooting so much, I had no life. And it was awesome because I had way more money, but I had not even time to spend it, like
Right.
like it
Yeah.
was it was just insane. And then because of some health issues and because of some personal issues too, I realized that it wasn't the way to go. And now I'm way more happy.
That's so cool. That's great. That's so good.
Yes.
Oh, Citlalli, thank you so much for that.
Oh,
Honestly,
thank you, Alan.
thank you for your time. That was brilliant. So many interesting bits of information there. It's great. And if you're listening on the website, I'm going to put the Reportage Award. That's it, like one of her multiple Reportage Awards that she's won. The big ladder image. You really need to come and check that out. I'll put that in the post, and I'll put links to her website as well. And you need to go and see her speak at any conferences. Oh, honestly, thanks so much. That was brilliant.
Thank you so much, Alan. Thank you for having me. It was great talking to you.
Thanks for listening to the third episode of our This Is Reportage podcast. We've launched with 3 episodes, so you can check out episodes 1, episodes 2 right now for interviews with Adam Johnson and Ross Harvey, respectively. If you enjoyed it, you can subscribe to our show on iTunes to be notified when each new weekly episode is ready, bringing you advice, tips and backstories from some of the world's best photographers each week. You can also head to thisisreportage.com to find a full transcription of this episode, including the specific Reportage Award that Citlalli talks about. And if you're not already a member of TIR, check out all the benefits of joining us. We're all about promoting the very best in documentary wedding photography, and members receive lots of benefits, including 60 Reportage Award entries and 18 Story Award entries per year, an unlimited number of images shown on your profile, exclusive discounts on wedding photography related products, invites to our physical meetups and parties, and much more. No poses, nothing staged. This is Reportage. And this is bye for now.